Right, hello, welcome to the AM session stream for the Monday holiday volume trading. Let's see what we'll get. All right. So 12 minutes ahead of the 10 a.m. And let's do a little bit of a review. What has unfolded since the London Open session. And ever since the London Open session, price was basically just hanging around, consolidating mostly. Yes, it tapped higher or made a higher high, but nothing in here is really significant in terms of anything really. So that's good. That's fine, because that means that we might see something unfolding during the 10 to 11 silver bullet. Something what we also got in here, the sell liquidity, radical lows that I wanted to see be untouched at 9:30. That's what it is. We have an enormous opening range gap in here. For Monday's trading, it's really huge. All right, so because it's a premium opening range gap, I would like to see it seek sell side first. These radical lows are my still go-to idea. I know that with such large of opening range gaps, we could see continuation higher. If that's the case, then I'm not interested, really. So, um, yeah, I will keep it simple, and I'm either looking for a short. I'm either going to look for a short that will yield me some, or I'm not interested in touching any longs as it is. At least that's the idea that I'm having right now, and we'll see how it will deliver. There is holiday trading hours, so the market will close at 12, meaning that this 10 to 11 silver bullet is all we got basically for the day, and whatever will deliver during this time, that's the price run for the day, I assume. Because since the midnight open, since London price was rather consolidated and not doing too much, besides that one little run lower, I think there is quite a chance that we might get a silver bullet run that makes sense. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, yeah, let me. I can do that this way. Let's do this other way. So what I want to do, I want to measure more or less the upper quadrant. Upper quadrant and the upper octane is fair. So that's the octane and the quadrant here. So anywhere in between this level in here, that's my like a draw on liquidity. And it overlaps nicely with the sell side liquidity pools. And that's just a great area, in my opinion, for the price to draw down into. And that's roughly like a 20 handles of a range from where we are right now. So that's what has my interest initially going into the 10 to 11 for this morning, with taking everything with a great deal of assault and cautiousness, because of the fact that it is holiday trading after all. So we might see a nothing burger too. So Nasdaq relative equal highs looks like it's gonna bump into that. Yes, was making higher highs already on with the weeks. So let's see if it will be matching this high or not. And yeah, that's this high. And Nasdaq has those relative equal highs, so it's bumping into them right now. But ES is far from matching that at this moment. So that might be a measure of SMT divergence, indicating some weaker ES in comparison to the Nasdaq. So we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, I think I have everything outlined as I would like to. And it makes a good sense. So we should be fine. Should be fine. As a side note, I want to recall to the DAX in here and the relative equal highs in here that I indicated that might be a draw some time ago. Price consolidated for a little bit longer than I would like to, but generally I believe we are gonna be striking this partial liquidity this week. pretty confidently. Dollar index swept sell side liquidity here from the low of this consolidation and shows some near-term strength, pulling up into this new week, opening up higher. Very reasonable draw. So near-term strength on the dollar index should be allowing for easier weakness on the indices. That's generally the rule of thumb, but yeah, 2 minutes. 2 minutes ahead of 10 a.m. So far, since 9:30, we just saw a little poke higher and then trying to reach up, and trading into this premium week. So I'll annotate that. Nasdaq made a higher high. Yes, failed to make a higher high. So potentially weaker. And I like this as a target a lot. So if it offers some inefficiency that makes sense, I'll be interested in looking for the lower prices here. But let's see. No biggie. If it doesn't offer anything, then no biggie. Tomorrow is another day. And yeah, I want to really make a case that this is a holiday volume trading, and this is, if this was not holiday trading volume, then I would be very confident in this idea, but because it is, I'm a little bit less. Hello, Mr. Trader P1. Welcome to the stream. All right, so 10 a.m. just hitting the marketplace. We just tapped to this premium week and rejecting that nicely with the bodies, so that's interesting and or promising. That is potentially a really nice SMT on the highs. The fact that ES is not matching this high, that's really indicative of a weakness, potential weakness at least. But if that's the case, then I want to see a clean price delivery, some inefficiencies, some fair value gaps being formed, because pretty much there is no first presentation for the opening range. So far, there's no first presented fair value gap really, unless you would use this 930 here, which I guess you could to some degree or to some extent consider that. but per se there is nothing else in here. Let's see, nonetheless. Let's see what we get. This week was obviously traded ahead of 10 a.m. So that wouldn't give me a feel anyway. But let's see if it offers an efficiency that makes sense, that I could maybe use for my own purpose. So pretty much waiting for a first presented fair value gap to present itself. Right, so far pretty quiet. Not much to do. Actually, nothing to do at this moment. But let's see. If we form a bullish fair value gap first, then I obviously want to see it act as a bearish inversion fair value gap. If we form a CB first, then I would prefer to see it act accordingly to the first function or first use. But yeah, so far we have neither of those, and still kind of waiting. I think there is quite a chance for a little bit of a price run, like 10 to 15 handles. I think that's reasonable expectation for today even. But yeah, I need something more than just this consolidation. All right, so let me check the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq repelled nicely lower in here. The Nasdaq actually formed some measure of displacement in here. So let's see if it can stay like this. But that's looking promising on Nasdaq. On ES, it looks way smaller. But let's see. I mean, I just prefer bearishness. I don't want to be buying at all-time highs. We are just at all-time highs. So yes, it's very sufficient. It's very good for study. It is. So on the ES, we did formed a little bit of an inefficiency in here, but on ES, for my liking, that's a little bit too small. So even if we see a run from here, I'm not necessarily a fan of that. Nasdaq has a little bit cleaner one, but at the same time, the Nasdaq sells a liquidity. I prefer ES though. ES looks cleaner on the downside. But let's see. I will watch both and how they react. So yeah, still kind of waiting for a first presentation on ES. It's not there really. I mean, this is a little bit too small for my liking after all. That's not even like a one handle. It's there, but yeah. But yeah, Nasdaq is breaking quite nicely in here. It looks a little bit heavier. So I'll be watching this Nasdaq 1006 of 06 first presentation in regards to what ES will do. So SMT on the highs, initial displacement lower. Not the cleanest price action on ES. Nasdaq slightly cleaner, but I'm not trusting Nasdaq that much. I prefer ES. So far I'm pretty content waiting, I suppose. We still have the London Open first presentation, which is in close proximity to price, and that's at this moment, to me, it's more impactful than this little inefficiency in here. So if we would go below it, then I would rather watch to see if it would offer any resistance. Right now we are still basically consolidating inside this tight range on ES, and that's what it is. But all right, I'll be patient. I'll be patient. Not in a rush. I treat today more of like a bonus. If something very nice presents itself that I would really like, then cool, I could engage on it and get a little bit of a run. But if it's not gonna present anything, then I'll just watch. So now we are tapping into the London Open first presented fair value gap, but we are trading into it from above. So let's see if it offers any discount sensitivity first, or will it repel price? I mean, will it repel price higher or will it go through it? That's what I'm watching right now. All right, so far the first candle can't even reach the consecutive encroachment. The second one opens at the high of that first presented fair value gap. So that just basically means wait a little bit longer. All right, so we got the closure below the consecutive encroachment. But at the same time, we are approaching this busy into the upper half of it. So I kind of like keep that in mind. Plus, the price run overall so far, it's very like small range candles, pretty much overlapping all together, and yeah, that's not necessarily the price action of my dreams. So I rather stay cautious about it. So since the 10 a.m. started, we basically covered around 4 handles in a down move, and we started moving lower straight away. I don't really like going short into something like this. I feel like it could retrace deeper at any time. So let's see. I honestly wouldn't mind if we would like form some measure of displacement higher at this moment with a busy or a nice bullish fair value gap. And I would really look to see that act as inversion fair value gap then. And if that would be the case, then that would be a trade for me. But yeah, so far it's a holiday volume, and we can see that it's Monday and it's holiday volume. Yeah, I mean, preferably we would like to see ES form an inefficiency when Nasdaq does form an inefficiency. We see Nasdaq was forming nice inefficiencies here, yes, but ES wasn't really doing that at all. And technically, ES should be weaker to the relative strength in here on the highs. It's not showing that, so that's kind of like a red flag. And you know, I'm not necessarily eager to gamble just because price is open. So yeah. I would like to. I will annotate this busy instead of that long open first presentation. I mean, I will keep that in mind, but I want to watch how this larger busy works with price in here, because that's basically the only inefficiency that's more significant in a range inside of all of this price action. So that's like the huge, spotlight on it. Like, look at me, look at me. So I'm looking. So theoretically, this could act as measure of inversion for value gap 2. But let's see. So far, the high is showing some initial resistance. But at the same time, we are spending some time inside of it initially, which right away is also like a red flag in my mind. And just meaning, wait. Telling me, wait. Don't rush. Because price isn't necessarily in a rush either. So yeah, and you would expect the price to be in a rush because we will have an earlier close today, right, at 12. So, it would be a reasonable expectation to expect that we don't have much time for today's session. Therefore, it should move rather quickly, right? And that still might be the case. The fact that the initial 20 minutes of that silver bullet are rather lethargic, that could be an advantage eventually later this hour, where we could see a little bit of speed up towards the end of it. But yeah, that's something that I will observe. And if something's there, then cool, that's great. But if not, then I'm fine either, right? So yeah, generally my drawn liquidity is lower. I would like to see it drop lower, but this price run in here didn't really, you know, lined well for any like solid entry on my part that I would really like enjoy having. So if it drops lower from where it is, I'll just let it go. But yeah, so far the price is already like staying in the lower half of this busy, and that's usually not a bullish sign. That's usually not a bullish sign. Let's see. Still around 35 more minutes left for this session of my personal interest, and yeah, we'll see. But the beginning of it looks rather calm, and looks, you know, there are not many fireworks in here. Nasdaq seems a little bit more over zealous, and it moves better to some degree. I mean, it moved better to some degree in a sense, but yeah, I'm kind of preferring ES to perform eventually cleaner. So let's see. All of this time spent inside of this imbalance in here, this busy, that's way too much time, and that doesn't bode well for a nice delivery. Well. Interesting how the summer months will go actually within the series. May is almost over, so heading into the summer months might be really interesting. All right, so far price shows respect to the law of that BC and doesn't really place any bodies added. So let's see if it can now make a little bit of a turn and trade slightly higher. That would be somewhat interesting, I guess. But good afternoon, Mr. Sonia Sang. By the way, you are Mr. or Mrs. Because I'm a little bit confused. Where I live, Sonia is a female name. But yeah, not sure. Miss. All right. I'm sorry. Well. Well, that's interesting because from the statistics, from my YouTube statistics, 99% of my viewers are men's. And as a fun fact, apparently I have at least 2 females that are consistently in the chat engaging, and yeah, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, kudos to you. Kudos to you. I am retight woman. All right. Well, I mean it's dropping lower. We just close below this basin here. So I'll change the color to the orange, so maybe it can act as a potential bearish inversion per valley gap in here. But yeah, I mean, truth to be told, I'm not a fan of this slow grind lower. Usually if a down move is really good, it's rather fast, it's rather quick. This one was not at all, so that's kind of suspect to me. We spent a lot of time inside of this busy also, which is also not the best indication of price delivery here. So I'm still being very cautious about the price action here. It would need to come back into this potential bearish inversion for value gap and then offer a nice little displacement. That would be interesting. But other than that, if it's just grinding slowly lower like this, then I let it go, I guess. But yeah. All right, so now we've taken this minor sales liquidity in here too, and we crossed the Monday's opening range gap high, so we are diving into it. This is, yeah, still way too clean, so I assume we could see us speed up into it or quickly dropping into it soon. There is a potential suspension block forming right there. Which is interesting as a yeah, I mean, if you go there, that's a mental win, that's for sure. Why didn't I took sales from the first presented fair gap when I was bearish? Because this little inefficiency in here in ES doesn't really fits my criteria for first presentation. It's less than one handle of a range. That's something that, yeah, I mean, sure, in hindsight it delivered, but this is not necessarily the fair gap I want to trade off of, you know. But that's just, you know, my personal I don't know, taste to it, or rules, or experience. So you can call it how you want, but yeah. All right, so now we have this suspension block in here, but we already a little bit extended on this down move, and we've took those relatively close here. And I wonder, this, yeah, I mean, this to me feels a little bit like a blunder, that it could be a blunder, especially its holiday volume. At the same time, I really like the draw lower here, but I don't know, I kind of don't trust the price action since the 10 a.m. So maybe I don't want to necessarily jump on an inefficiency just because it's there eventually, but you know, that's just me in here. So let's see. It feels like it also could always tap into this inversion here, and we would have to see whether it will actually act as inversion or not. The Nasdaq took the sales liquidity here. We are matching on the lows. Yeah, I mean, still a little bit suspect, but at the same time, could be decent, right? Could be decent. Could be decent. I am a little bit split inside whether I should engage in or not. This is not this isn't necessarily what I was looking for. Therefore, I'm a little bit iffy. And usually, if I'm iffy, usually it's better for me to not to engage. So that's probably the best option, but at the same time, I really like the price drawing down to those relatively close in here. So yeah, it makes sense, and if it's good, it will drop in the next candle and just smash it. That's what I think, right? That's what I think right now. But if we see a larger candle that closes above it here, then I'm glad that I didn't entered basically. So yeah. And the fact that we were just slowly grinding lower, 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 lower made this run taken sell side. All of this I'm not a fan of, but yeah, let's see. Still have around of 20 minutes left. 20 minutes left, so time will tell. I know you specialize in ICT. How did you start learning it, and what did you study first? Would love to know your advice. Yeah, I mean, I started with the YouTube channel, with the old YouTube channel. I mean, I started years ago, so there wasn't anything else at the time. But yeah, then eventually I graduated towards the private mentorship during 2021, and since then I just consumed everything. So I guess that's a process that you would like to endure potentially. And yeah, I mean, start slow and just keep going forward. If you are passionate about it, then I guess you will have a good chance of making it. How was the private mentorship? Well, I mean, it was amazing, to be honest. It was really amazing. I miss it a lot. I'm very glad that I was able to go through it, and that was, I mean, amazing. I can't even explain, but imagine learning all of these concepts, and seeing the guy like predicting the market, and like week after week, and it delivered. And at the time, the entire world was like clueless. I mean, no one really, like, there was a very small group of people that was like into ICT back then. But yeah, so it felt like amazing, like yeah, like a dream. Right, so if it's good, if we are dropping towards the sell side, it should not come back higher in here, and it should just drop quickly. We are running low on time too, so it's really meant to um, accelerate to the downside. But yeah, as I'm saying, if that wasn't holidays volume trading, I would like to believe that I would be in it, even from higher prices in here. I would like to believe that the price would be more cleaner, imbalanced, and with larger candle ranges. But it is what it is. Anyway. Where is Sebi? Which Sebi do you, what do you mean? Which Sebi do you refer to? Oh, those green parts. That's not an actual fair value gap. That's something else, Sonia. I was annotating it at the beginning, nonetheless. If you are curious how I did it, but this is the upper, the high of the box, of this green box, is the upper octane of the Monday's opening range gap, and the low is the upper quadrant of that opening range gap. And inside of those two reference points, we have this very, very smooth and clean sell-side liquidity that all together makes this a very strong drawn liquidity in my mind. And yeah, that's what it is. That's what it really is. I like these volume imbalances in here as price retrades slightly into it. I don't know. It makes that sell side in here makes the most sense. That's still like respectable amount of range considering what ranges do we have so far today, right? So, you know, even though it kind of doesn't look like it's that much of a price run for today's trading and for today's range, it kind of is a significant price swing. So yeah, these volume imbalances in here, I see that as a one inefficiency of some sort that I would like to see repel price lower, because these are volume imbalances. A trade above it, that's acceptable, but not necessarily a displacement, right? But yeah, if we see a displacement higher, then I will feel a little bit better that I didn't took the short in here. So yes, please, maybe you can reward my patience and hesitant of taking a risk. But yeah, now we'll see, because we traded to this CB, to this suspension block here once. Price repaired lower, failed to really offer a continuation to the downside, and now we are trading into it for the second time, so reclaiming this inefficiency basically. So I'm very curious to see how price will actually deal around it, because also it looks that it's forming a bullish suspension block basically in here. And this little friend, if you could close below it, that could act as an inversion fair value gap that I would like more. So that would still like allow me to get out before the sell side if that would be the case. But now I can like calmly watch whether price will inverse that or not, because if it's not going to, then I don't necessarily need to do anything and just watch how price will be trading. So yeah, I like this position right now a little bit more. So yeah, holiday volume is holiday volume, right? And it is what it is, I guess. All right, so far we traded to this suspension block here. The body is respecting the consecutive encroachment. If we could roll over below this, then that could have been a potential inversion for a value gap. Otherwise, on the upside, we have this higher potential inversion for value gap, so that's something to watch too. We'll see, but at this moment, I'm kind of glad that I didn't engage with this. I wouldn't feel very comfortable with this backdrop price action in here and having this retracement to that. It would need to repel that quickly and displace quickly away from it. We are going into the 1050 macro, so that's the time when if price would show some weakness, that's the time to potentially engage with it. So that's also basically the time to leave this SIBI if that's the case. But again, I'm not necessarily in a rush by any means. And this price run, yes, it delivered lower, but on ES by any means, I wouldn't necessarily like to be in it. Nasdaq was slightly cleaner, yes, admittedly. But yeah, I don't know. I was thinking that ES has way smoother sell side in here and I was expecting a cleaner price action in ES, to be honest. It wasn't the case. So I guess it is what it is. But yeah, so far price is respecting nicely the lower half of this bearish fair value gap. And we would expect the price to start rolling over and displacing lower if it's bearish at this time. Yeah, I mean, kind of tricky. Time is running low, so in my opinion, it would really need to be delivering or start delivering around this time to send it lower actually in here. How much is that of a range from where we are? 12 and a half. 12 and a half. Can we get that? 6 minutes left for this macro. I still favor this as a potential draw for today overall. So I guess if we can close below this best scene here, I can use it as inversion, and that would be my trade then. We did manage to close below the consecutive encroachment. I like to see that. But yeah, let's watch if you can see a close below this. Then I will get in and I will aim for those relatively lows. And that would be my trade for today then. But if it will not happen, then I'm probably not gonna engage. So I'm assuming that this will close below it, and this will act as bearish inversion for value gap and send us down to the promised land. Yeah, I mean the dollar is also getting weaker in here. Hard, and it's holiday. It's hard one. Okay, let's see. 25 seconds, and we might get a potential inversion for value gap here. Well, interesting how it wicked below it in a last second, but closed inside of it. Interesting little nugget. But why 22 micros? Because I'm allowing myself for 1% risk of the account at this moment, and that's around $500, more or less, and that's what I'm going to risk on my next trade, regardless if I will take this one here today, which it looks like it will not give it to me, so likely not. But tomorrow I will also look for that measure of risk, but 22 because apparently with this small of a range, um, it allows me or requires me to use like larger number of contract to meet my max risk, because otherwise I would have hard time risking $500 with reasonable stop loss. But yeah, already it's 10:59, so even if it closes below it here right now, I will not be taking it because that would be against the rules. So let's say that the rules will just save me today from taking a trade. Regardless, we'll see. I mean, I will check how we'll close today. These are my points of interest. If we go there, great. If not, I will swallow that too. And yeah, I guess tomorrow we have 10 a.m. medium impact news. I mean, I guess tomorrow we should have a normal, or rather normal day of trading. So likely more liquid than today, that's for sure. So yeah, yeah, I guess that's going to be it for today. Slower day, unless I believe London Open was a little bit better in terms of this price swing here versus the AM session. I was expecting AM session to be better, but maybe it was on the Nasdaq, but not on the ES that I was actually watching more. So fair enough. Thanks for watching nonetheless. I wish you guys a pleasant reminder of the day. Thanks everyone for tuning in, chatting. Nice to meet you, Sonia, again. And see you guys tomorrow. London Open we start. Ciao, Bella.